only. Is there anybody who would like to come down, speak on future agenda items only?
Good afternoon, Glen Jubilee, community activist and taxpayer. So the future agenda items, I can talk about anything I want, so I'm going to enter into the record the public comment on Airbnbs. This is for future Airbnbs. It has nothing to do with the local stuff. So my thought is, and I sent you each this email this morning. Steve, I lost your address. I just got that to you. So my question is that, first of all, you should do the records request that I did, because I think there's a lot of money that's going unaccountable in this. And I think the taxpayers have a right to know what a federal lawsuit is costing this taxpayer. Here's the problem I have, is that we have 17 counties that are already on board, and I'll get to that in a minute, and we have to do the heavy lifting for the other 50 counties. This federal lawsuit is expensive. It's not needed, so I'm going to put that into the record. You each have a copy of it. Now I'm going to go to the Airbnb site. I also sent each and every one of you a copy of it. We have counties all around Manatee, Sarasota, Northport, south of there, Hillsborough, Pinellas. They all have agreements, 17 agreements on all sides. All the counties around us already have these agreements in place. I don't know why we're trying to reinvent the wheel on this tax thing. Lee County, Miami-Dade, Indian River, Orange County, Pinellas, Polk County, Putnam County, Santa Rosa, Sarasota, Seminole, Taylor County, Surfside. They all have agreements with Airbnb. This has been going on for 2 years. Enough is enough. Adopt one of these and let's move forward. My other thing on future comment is where the tower is. You know, we got that thing railroaded through, and now comes that we have a developer just north of there. The county has no responsibility to put in.
I don't think that's on the agenda today. I don't think we can talk. That's not a future agenda.
I'm talking about the tower. I'm talking about the tower property. Just
we'll keep it specific to the tower.
Development that we haven't.
Okay, scratch that. Let's talk about the tower property. The tower property.
Okay.
That's all I'm talking about. Why is there not a sidewalk? Any other person that wants to develop any piece of property has to include a sidewalk. Why do we not have a sidewalk in front of that property that is connected to Canaan School? That's my point. I would like you to consider to put in a sidewalk. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 2, whose card I have is Glenn.
Hey, Glenn, you got your sidewalk, so.
All right, for the record, Glen Jubilee, community activist and neighbor. I live on the street that parallels that throughway on 28th Street, so I'm very familiar with the area. My question is on the flooding. Have we thought outside the box? I mean, at my house, I use permaculture, I use swales, and during that rain, not one drop left my property. So I think there might be some other avenues to look into in future developments. The other thing I want to bring up is that this is for educational purposes only. There was no legal binding to my statements, so don't take it as legal or binding. I want to talk about affordable housing on this, and we want to plant the seed early in the development to the people who are going to sell it, the people who are going to develop it, and the end result of the builders who are going to build there. Now, Gary, I know Gary's a great guy. It's a good plan. But if it were my property, I would put a stipulation in there that 10% of those homes must be affordable housing. We don't know that yet he got a tax credit for not having to pay the affordable housing fee. I'm still unclear about that, but that's for another day. So what I would suggest to the homeowners is that they put some type of stipulation in there for affordable housing. And then by the time it gets to the developer, They say, hey, we've got 143 lots, but 14 of them are going to be affordable housing. You have a fire department within walking distance. You have a school within walking distance, an EMS that's at the fire station. All those entry-level jobs, EMS starts at $34,000, school teachers are at $44,000, the sheriff and the fire departments are about $50,000. They cannot even afford to live in that community that they serve. That's why we have to start planting the seed early for this affordable housing. And the ADUs, they're not accessory dwelling units, they're affordable dwelling units. So I've renamed that. So I think that these developers that come in should also sell a home with an accessory dwelling unit in the backyard and say, look, here's our $175,000 model. For another $30,000, we can give you an accessory dwelling, and you can offset the rent and the mortgage by making that affordable housing. We have to groom and change the mindset and, more importantly, the moral compass of our developers, because it's all about the money with those guys, and we have to change that. The other thing I wanted to bring up is 40-foot lots. Man, you could jump from roof to roof. You know, I played racquetball for 20 years, and that's 40 feet. There's not much space there. So I would encourage them, the people that are going to develop, that whoever they sell it to, encourage affordable housing lots with accessory dwelling units there as well. And Gary, it's a good layout. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from the public that?
Thank you.
Next is Glenn.
Hello again, Glen Jubilee, and I have been sworn. This is the most ill-conceived proposition I have ever run across in for a while anyways. I cannot believe you're going to let this fast food restaurant come into our neighborhood and drive through our community till 2 o'clock in the morning, lights blaring in the windows, people coming out of bars coming through there. You're right, they don't know the neighborhood. Why don't we just vacation the end of the street? Just sell it to each, give it to each neighbor, and make both of them dead-end streets. Let the neighborhood go on like it's been going on for 69 years. For them to use that as a cut-through is ill-conceived. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You need to go back and rethink this. Craig said about the sound, 8 feet high. What about the air conditioners and the exhaust fans on the roof? They're above 8 feet. I didn't hear him address that. And the guy with the traffic, in his opinion, he's from Maitland. He hasn't spent 2 days here. What does he know about, in my opinion, of the traffic studies? All this information is ill-conceived. It's not factual. It's not even close to the truth. That road is terrible. They need to vacation the end of the road or put in speed bumps, calming devices, because I will tell you, if I was in that neighborhood and I had drunks coming through at 1 o'clock, believe me, I used to be there, so I know what I'm talking about, with the loud music, disrupting the neighborhood, waking up kids that got to go to school in the morning, and these people are only going to be closed for 4 or 5 hours? That's like a bar. I owned a bar. I know those hours. It's insane. Now you got people cleaning up after 2 o'clock. They're not going to get out of the parking lot to probably 2:30 or 3 a.m. Then you got the people coming in at 6, going to open up. They got to get ready for the 7 o'clock opening. That place will probably only be shut down for a couple hours. There'll be constant people there, in and out, and cutting through that neighborhood. You've got kids there. You've got, it's just a disruptive factor. I urge this board to deny this, and the previous speaker was right. This belongs with a 9-to-5 establishment, like a blind or a doctor, anything but a fast food restaurant that's going to hammer that neighborhood to 2 o'clock in the morning. It's ill-conceived. You need to deny it. Let them go over by Oli's. They got a big parking lot there. Let them go by the gas station across the street.